Richard Wyeth here. Hello to you at 12 minutes past 9 for the 7th of December. Now, when leaving the armed forces, it can be a difficult time, even more so if you're from the BAME foreign and commonwealth community. Now, Army veteran Samuel T. Reddy has decided to help and is a co-founder of not-for-profit TriPotential. Now, I've been speaking to Samuel about how he is helping, but first, how leaving the army was for him.
Leaving the armed forces, regardless of your rank or status, is never easy. It's never straightforward. But for someone like myself, leaving the armed forces after 7 years was not easy. And that's purely because there are three main problems that we face as foreign and commonwealth soldiers leaving the armed forces. And I think I call that the loss in transition. And the first problem that we encounter when leaving the armed forces is what I call the crisis identity. You see, you serve 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You wore uniform, you serve the Queen and country, you wore the flag. But after that time, you are left with nothing. You realize you actually are not entitled to that flag anymore. So that's the first problem. And the second problem we find when leaving the armed forces is what I call the lack of credibility. And that's come with the loss of skills. There are so many trades in the armed forces, and most Commonwealth get lost in reinventing themselves using their existing skills. But the third one is perhaps the third most important thing, is the loss of community. You know, when you serve 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you have a community in the armed forces. There are people around you. It's a family-oriented organization. When you leave the forces, you lose all of that, all at once. So I had to face all these problems.
Because of your experiences, you've decided to set up this not-for-profit company called TriPotential to help veterans from that black and minority ethnic community, foreign and commonwealth, to get into employment.
So this has been an exciting project with myself and my co-founder, Mahay. TriPotential aim is to empower those foreign commonwealth soldiers to capitalize on their identities, use their credibilities, and build on a community so they can become leaders of the future. And that's what we want to do with this current market.
They leave the army, the forces. How are you helping them get into find that perfect employment?
So there are three ways. The first way is we're now partnering with many other uniformed services. We are allowing them to use their existing skills to move from one forces to the other. So they can move from the military, army, air force to become fire officers, police officers, and prison officers. That's the first element of it. The second part of the element is using their credibilities and their identities as having two nationalities to set up businesses in the UK and in their birth countries so that both countries can work together. And the third part of it is for them to gain more education, higher education, so they can excel their potential at work, perform better, and empower other organizations.
Now, if someone's listening from the BAME community that's due to leave the forces and thinking this is interesting and they'd like the help, how can get more details?
So they can find us on most social media on tripotential.global or email us at info@tripotential.global.
And Samuel, just finally, you've experienced leaving the army from the foreign commonwealth community. So what one piece of advice would you give someone in that situation now just about to leave?
First of all, if you're about to leave, then you have a lot of work to do. There's no time to waste. I actually advise people now, if you're from a foreign commonwealth country, just start planning your transition at least 3 to 4 years in advance. What out there that I left 30 years ago is not the same. Nowadays, it's a lot harder to reinvent yourself. So you need to start planning. You need to start networking. Lastly, get in touch with us. We can help you. We know the route. We have a pathway for you. Just contact us.
That was Army veteran Samuel T. Reddy talking about how he set up this not-for-profit TriPotential to help the BAME community into employment after leaving the services. He's been through it himself. It's a fantastic idea. And we'll speak to co-founder Mahay tomorrow morning at 9:10 to find out more details on other ways they're helping the BAME and foreign and commonwealth community.